Hello everyone and welcome to another lecture of Physiology for Engineers with Professor Gonzalez-Fernandez at Lehigh University. Today we're going to look at the process of gas exchange between the alveoli and the blood and how our blood is able to take oxygen from the air and then release the CO2 back to the atmosphere. Okay, so we are going to use a little schematic. So first of all, we need the alveoli. So we have here an alveolus. Okay, so in alveolus, the main alveolar cell that is going to participate into this gas exchange are the pneumocytes. The nuclei. So these pneumocytes, as we saw before, they are going to be covered by this layer of water. Okay, so here, covering this layer of pneumocytes, we have water, and also we have the surfactant, that are lipids. Then we're going to have, so this is the alveolar sac. Then we have here, we have the blood vessel or the blood vessel capillary. So let's use another, let's see, this is better. Okay, so this is the blood vessel capillary. So between the alveolus and the capillary, we are going to have the interstitial space. Okay, and then inside the capillary, we are going to have the endothelial cells. That are going to form part of the endothelium. Okay, and then inside the capillary, we are going to have the erythrocytes. There are the cells, the red blood cells, that are going to carry the oxygen to the tissues that need it. Okay, so we have the erythrocytes. Okay, so the exchange of oxygen and CO2 is going to happen due to a concentration or a pressure gradient. Okay, so here, when we get air in the inspiration, so we get all this atmospheric air that is really rich in oxygen. The oxygen pressure is going to be around 104 milligrams of mercury. But in the blood, the pressure of oxygen inside the blood is going to be equal to 40 milligrams of mercury. Therefore, the oxygen is going to travel in this gradient pressure, this pressure gradient from the alveolus to the capillary. Okay? And something similar is going to happen with the CO2. So the CO2 here, the pressure of CO2 is greater inside the capillary than in the atmospheric air. So here, the pressure of carbon dioxide is around 45 millimeters of mercury. And in the atmospheric air, here in the alveolus, the pressure of carbon dioxide is around 40. So again, due to this pressure gradient, the CO2 in the capillary in the blood is going to go to the alveolus so we can have this gas exchange. But also this oxygen needs to be taken by the blood to the rest of our organs and our tissues, and this is going to happen thanks to the erythrocytes. And the erythrocytes are the red blood cells, and they are red because they are very rich in a very specific chemical component, which is iron. So iron is essential for the hem group of the hemoglobin. So the hemoglobin, thanks to the iron, is going to bind to 4 molecules of oxygen. So this hemoglobin has a really high affinity with the oxygen here, so it's able to complex really efficiently, very efficiently with the oxygen that travels from the alveolus into the capillary, and then take this oxygen, these 4 molecules of oxygen per hemoglobin, to the different tissues in our body when there is going to be released thanks to a different concentration or pressure gradient. Okay, so let's go to the fun part. We can use these different mechanisms to increase our athletic performance. So for example, one way is injecting different supplements, for example, erythropoietin. So that's a supplement that is going to increase the number of red blood cells in our blood. So the erythropoietin is going to increase the differentiation of the hematopoietic stem cells towards red blood cells. So we are going to have more hemoglobin, and therefore we are going to carry more oxygen more efficiently in our blood and perform better. Another way that is more natural by which we can increase this is training at different mountains, so different altitude, right? So when we go to a mountain, here the pressure of oxygen in the air is going to go down. So that means that our body needs to acclimate to this lower pressure of oxygen. So the way that our body acclimates to this is through increasing the concentration of hemoglobin or the number of erythrocytes in our blood. So this is why some athletes do the training in higher altitudes to increase their performance and be able to carry more oxygen more efficiently. Okay, so to finish as well, this hemoglobin molecule, the hem group, binds very efficiently to oxygen, but the efficiency is also very high with other molecules. For example, it's also very high with carbon monoxide. And it's not only, the affinity is not only higher, also the bind between the hemoglobin and the carbon oxide is much stronger than the oxygen. That's why we can suffocate when we are in, there is some type of fire or like a failure in our heating system in the house. It produces carbon monoxide that will bind very efficiently with the hemoglobin, and that will displace the oxygen, therefore will unfortunately die. Another gas that binds very efficiently to hemoglobin is nitrogen. That's also why we have to be very careful when we are doing research with liquid nitrogen, and that's why we need a big space to store a liquid nitrogen tank, because this will bind very efficiently to the hemoglobin, displacing the oxygen, and then we can suffocate as well. Okay, so I finished the explanation of the different cell types and the gases change, oxygen and carbon dioxide here in the alveolus and the endothelium. I hope that you enjoyed the lecture, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.